Okay, today's tutorial is about the double crochet. I'm going to show you how to make a double crochet. It's one of the most common crochet stitches out there, so it's important to go ahead, learn how to do it, practice it, get your tension right, okay? So we're going to make a slip knot. Put your yarn between your thumb and your index finger. We're going to wrap it around. See how we made that little X? Take your hook. Go under the first, snag your second, and pull it through, and then clench it down. Now our slip knot is already on our hook, and we're ready to go. We are going to chain 12. We're only going to make 10 double crochets for our swatch. We're going to chain up 12, and I'll explain to you why we do that in just a moment. Let's get our chain started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you might think, okay, now why did we chain 12 if we're going to do 10 double crochets? Well, we need to make our first double crochet out of a couple of these chains, and that's why. When you're following a pattern, you chain as many as they tell you to and follow the pattern that way. But in order to do our swatch for today, I needed to chain a couple of more because I wanted to do 10 double crochets. I don't know, it's a nice even number, right? It'll give you a nice little swatch so you can really see the stitch. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. And we can do this one of two ways. You can go into the bottom of your stitches, or you can go into the back bumps. You see these back bumps? If you go into these back bumps, which I am partial to, your edge of your product, of your project, it's going to look a little cleaner, a little neater. If you wanted to put a border on this, see, your V-stitches are still going to be there. They're going to be prominent. You're not going to have to hunt and find and invent stitches for a border. They're already going to be there. Okay, now I will tell you, if you are going to go into the bottom of your stitch, okay, so let's say you're going to go into the bottom of your stitch, make sure you pick up those two on top and you'll have the one on the bottom. Make sure if you go in there you pick up so that you've got those two on top. Okay, for today's tutorial we're going to work in the back humps. Our back hump at the top got lost a little bit. That's our first one, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to work a double crochet into this 4th one. A double crochet is a yarn over, go into our back bump. We're going to pull up some yarn, and we're going to have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, which all that means is it means we're going to put yarn over top of the back of our hook. We're going to pull through the first 2 loops. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through the second 2. And that's our first double crochet stitch. All right, let's go on to our next one. Here's our next back bump, yarn over, into, bring up a loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2, then we'll yarn over, pull through the second 2, and that's our second double crochet. Okay, let's do our third, yarn over, into that back bump, pull up a loop. Now sometimes your yarn just kind of wants to naturally sit down here in this neck. Okay, we can't let that happen. It can't stay there because the gauge of your needle is not in the head and it's not in the neck. The gauge of your needle is right here in the shaft. So you want to make sure that all of your loops are on the shaft. Then you know that your project is going to be the gauge that your needle is. Okay? We don't want to work anything in the neck. We want to make sure everything pays a visit to the shaft of your needle. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? Let's go into our next. Yarn over. Let's get in there. Pull up a loop on our hook, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. See, our double crochets are coming along. Here's our next. Yarn over, pull through, or go back through your back hump, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's go into our next one. Yarn over, go into our back hump, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the second 2. Okay, we have 3 stitches left. See those 3 humps? Let's continue. Yarn over, go into that back hump, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the second 2. Yarn over, into our chain, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, depending on what first row that you do, sometimes this beginning chain can get lost and it can get hidden. You have to find it, guys. You got to find it because it does count. It is part of your stitch count and it's important. If you make a mistake in your counting, your design or your pattern could be off. And so it's important to always find your beginning chain. All right, yarn over, and let's go into that. Pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, here is our first row, and we should have 10 double crochets. This chain space that we did in the very beginning, this counts. That counts as a stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, this is 10 double crochets. In order to build our second row, we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. Now, pay attention to your pattern. If your pattern tells you that your chain counts as a stitch, you do not go in to this stitch because this stitch right here belongs to this post. It belongs to this turning chain. So if your pattern tells you that this is your first stitch, you're not going to go into this. You're going to go into the second one. Okay? So we're going to say our pattern tells us that this is a stitch. We're going to go into the second one. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the second one. When you do, make sure that you're under both. Okay? That's important. Pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, here's our next one. Yarn over, go into that stitch. We've got both on our hook. Pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, here's our next one. Yarn over, into our stitch, making sure, of course, that we've gotten under both of those. Pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Here's our next one. You can also see your stitches from the top if you turn your work. See that? Yarn over, go into that stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Into our next one, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's go into our next one. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now it might look like we only have 2 left, right? But remember, this beginning chain, when we started our project, right, we skipped those first 3 and we started working in the 4th chain from the hook. With this, we made it count as a double crochet. So we see our other 2 stitches here, but we can't forget that turning chain counts. Okay, yarn over into this stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into our stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now working into a chain can be a little bit more difficult. It is a little bit more difficult than working in a stitch. But if you turn your work, you can see that V if you turn your work. So yarn over, and we're going to go and see, go into that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And that is our second row. Okay, our second row of double crochet. And we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's a good idea to go back and make sure that your count is still correct every so often. Please don't forget to chain into your chain spaces. If you forget to do that, what'll happen is instead of having a nice square rectangle project, you will start to have a triangle. Your sides will start to go in. So it's important to make sure that you get into those chain spaces. And this is what stitch markers are good for. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to use those now. So we are going to start another row. So we're going to chain up 3. Okay, let's start row number 3, and we're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, and 3. Turn our work. Now, remember, we have to work into this turning chain on our way back. On our way back, we're going to have to work into that turning chain. So it's really good to use a stitch marker. And what these do is they let you know where you need to work. Okay? They help you. So at the top of this chain, we're going to put our stitch marker right there in the top of that chain. And that lets us know that on our way back through, you see you got 2 on the top, and we've got 1 in the back. It's in there, clearly marked. Okay, now remember our pattern said that this turning chain counts as a stitch, so we're not going to work into this space, we're going to work into this one. We're going to do 1 more row together. Okay, we're going to yarn over, go into our stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, let's do this again. Yarn over into our stitch. We've got both of them on there. Pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to continue on down the line. Yarn over, 3 loops on our hook, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Now you go ahead and continue to the end, and I'll meet you there. Okay, we have 2 more stitches left, one that is in this double crochet and one that is in our turning chain. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, go through this, go through that stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Here's that chain again, and you see it kind of looks just jumbled, right? But if you turn your work, there's your V. There's where you have to go. All right, we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go into this V space. And it's always a little bit more difficult to go into a chain than it is to go into an actual stitch. All right, just work at it. You'll get there. There we go. We are going to pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put that stitch marker in here again. All right, here comes our 4th row. We are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and turn our work. Now again, we know we are going to have to work into the top of that chain. So we're going to take our stitch marker and we're going to just slip it right into the top chain right there. Okay. And we're going to work our first double crochet into that 2nd stitch, because remember, this turning chain belongs to that stitch. So we're going to yarn over, go into our stitch, making sure that we have both, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And if you want to continue making your stitches down the line, I'll meet you at the end. Okay, here we are at the end of our 4th row. And as you can see, this stitch marker has that top of that chain clearly defined for us. So we don't have to hunt for it, look for it, it's right there. So let's go ahead and put our last 2 double crochets in, yarn over into our stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. These stitch markers are really easy because you can slip them in and out and you don't have to take your hands off of your work. So we can just slip this right out, and we know that our chain is right there because our stitch marker kept it a little preserved for us. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to go right into, you'll see how much easier that was when the stitch marker kept it somewhat preserved for us, right? We're going to yarn over 3 loops on our hook, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And that is your double crochet. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of all my new videos.